see.
Um,
Let me, well,
I want to pass around.
yeah,
this
a couple
too.
things I want to do as far as just some housekeeping wrap up here. Inside each of these folders, is my contact information, also just some paperwork on what illustration, what I wanted to show you as far as what I was talking about. There's also a survey in there too. I wish you would, if you would take a minute to fill out as far as just some feedback. There's one sheet on there that is a letter of interest. That's on the left tab here. And again, this is something that's just an example. It's non-binding, that sort of stuff. That would be the next thing. If anybody needs to pen or anything to write with as far as surveys, we have these up here. So again, it's just saying, hey, look, you know, I have available, you know, X amount of dollars, you know, between now and the next 6 months to invest, and so, you know, if you come back with something, let's sit down and have a conversation. And that's what we talk about in private meeting. This is public, I want to obviously get into people's private financial affairs in a public setting. There's also right behind that a mutual non-disclosure and confidentiality agreement, meaning that, you know, we operate with the utmost of confidentiality in terms of both how you share your information, but at the same time, from our standpoint, we're going to be sharing with you information about some of our deals, so it's important that the trust goes both ways. Fair enough? And then the other thing that's in there, again, just survey that I'd like to get some feedback on. And then also, too, there's a couple of sheets about, you know, background of my team, myself, and here's one of those articles about the job recovery and so forth. So leave the evaluation if you would. Also, too, if you want to fill out the LOI in terms of just giving some sort of indication of you know, possible follow-up meeting. And again, with the sign-up sheet that Deidre has, did everybody sign in? I think it's going to serve one around, yeah. We'll be able to follow up appropriately in terms of seeing who would like to learn more, consider having a second date, okay?
Thank you, Mark. So, again, many of you know me, and I've talked with you personally. Anyone that don't, please, I don't want you to leave without me personally shaking your hand and thanking you for coming. What we're doing is Strive Wealth Builders, and we're a business club for business owners, entrepreneurs, and real estate investors. So the majority of you here, well, I would guess everyone here is interested in real estate. What we're doing is Strive Wealth Builders, I'm working on our membership and the level of interest you are in real estate. So what I'm finding and talking to many of you, we're all at different levels. And I want to streamline that so I can see what your interests are, so I can kind of steer you into that direction. As you see, Mark is multifamily. A lot of his units are over 200 units. Some of you may be interested in single families, flips, and fix and flips, apartment buildings. You may just be starting, you may be seasoned, you may be accredited. So I'm working on developing some tools within our organization so I can identify that, so we can streamline the process, so we can help you wherever level you are. We want to be able to assist you in meeting your goals. Mark?
Yeah, just real quickly too, also too, as far as folks who may be interested in starting at a kind of a lower threshold, maybe 50 or 100 units, something like that, you know, we would consider kind of like a joint venture type of arrangement to kind of help some folks get started off the ground, just getting into the space, and you know, so I just want to interject that as well.
I'm sorry, thank you, sorry. You've been so great, thank you. I'm so glad to have you. I'm running up and down the stairs, and it's nice to have somebody here. But yes, just to piggyback off of Mark. So what we're doing again, I'm working with Mark, but we have other investors also we're working with. So we want to make sure that you're on the level that you're comfortable with, and that we can grow together, and that we can assist you wherever level you are. And so again, I have your information. I'd like to, to speak with you also. so I can see what level you are and what your interests are, and then I can possibly direct you into that, to the area that you feel comfortable with starting, or maybe you're seasoned and you're comfortable with investing into multifamily over 200 units. You may look at debt investing, you may be looking at equity investing. So it's just so many things that you can, so many areas you can go into in real estate. It's really important just to identify what your passion is and what you're interested in, and start there. And also, I just have to say this, and this is from my personal experience, surrounding yourself with like-minded people and people that are doing the same thing that you're doing. I jumped in, and I still jump in sometimes, and and then you get burned when you jump in a lot of times. And that's kind of been my philosophy, just get in there and just do it. And education is very important, and I do agree with that, but we have to be careful with these other workshops and seminars and traps that you can get in. And traps that you may get into and spending all this money. You really want to surround yourself with like-minded people. We want to bring educational programs such as this and some other workshops to help you to get knowledgeable and educated in real estate, so that you can avoid some of the risks that some of the seasoned investors have made, and also avoid spending a lot of money on these educational programs that's really not getting you anywhere. So that's the purpose of Strive Wealth Builders. So again, thank you for coming. I want to make sure everyone signed in. Does anyone didn't sign? Okay. And any questions for Mark? Any questions at all from anyone?
Mark,
Yes, sir.
so you invest right now in Texas, that is your base right now in Texas?
No, we're not just limited to Texas. I've just had experience there, so that's
Okay.
a market I'm familiar with. But I'm also now looking at some things in Detroit, and we'll be looking at some things in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So again, my philosophy is you do the numbers tell you what to do. And again, a lot of, as far as the metrics in terms of where we're going, is a lot of it's going to be influenced by, again, still what's happening with baby boomers in terms of their retirement years, where people are moving out of the cold climates, the more expensive places like the New York Cities of the world, the DCs. They're going to, Georgia on the East Coast and Florida. Here on the West Coast, people in California, they're moving to Texas and Arizona and places where their dollar goes further. And then also, too, even with millennials, so some of them are staying in the inner cities because they want to do that. So there's opportunities in different places. So again, it's just our geography isn't necessarily, or the investment decision isn't necessarily driven by a particular state. Texas has experienced a lot of job growth over the last 10 years, and so it's really driven by where is the job growth happening. And a lot of times what precipitates the job growth is the movement of people into a certain area. So once those people get there, they start now have a demand for certain services, shopping malls, restaurants, all the infrastructure that's needed to support that influx. And so when companies start hiring these people, guess what? They need someplace to live. So it's just looking at different things. So no, my investors, as my mentor says, you live where you want to, invest where it makes sense.
And we will have more programs rolled out for out-of-state investing as well as in-state, California. We're now looking at some areas like Vallejo. Yes.
What are the fees associated with joining the real estate club?
For Strive Wealth Builders,
Yeah.
for real estate, if you have 0 to 3 properties, it's $40 a year.
Mm-hmm.
If you have 3 or more properties, it's $50 for the year.
Oh, that's very important.
Thank you. We try to keep it that way. Yeah. So that's it. And if you're an entrepreneur, if you're not in real estate, you're an entrepreneur, it starts at $35 for the year.
And then how many meetings do you guys have?
We have, depending on what chapter, we have chapter meetings. We're here in Oakland the second Thursday. If you visit our website, we have our calendar of events on there. We're here second Thursdays of every month.
Okay.
Here. San Francisco is the third Wednesday. We also have Sacramento now, which is the fourth Thursday. But again, go to our website, Strive Wealth Builders. We have San Jose, Sacramento, Oakland, San Francisco, and North Carolina now.
Okay.
Yeah. So our programs such as this is not our members. We call it a Money Talk Social, and that's our members meeting every month. But programs such as this, we periodically have them. I will just send out announcements when we have presentations real estate presentations. And we have some more coming up for, at the end of the month as well, so look out for those. Any other questions? So we have a lot of talent in the room too, so we have, investors, we have some, real estate agents, we have, insurance, we have a lot of I'm always in favor of networking and referral base. We all want to work together and build together, so please, before you leave, share, do a little networking, share, maybe pass out some business cards and see where you can make money. That's what we're about, making money. That's what I'm here for, cash flow. Yeah. So,
There's one other thing on the, Leticia, would you raise your hand? Would you make sure that you get all the evaluations?
and also, we have bread. So, in the kitchen, please, and it's homemade fresh. Can you please tell us what type of bread it is? I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but we made some fabulous bread, and I want everyone to get a piece of that in the kitchen there when so let's, that's
It's a multi-seed bread. It's artisanal bread, and I made it today. So
made it today. It's fresh.
It's required.
So please help yourself.
Breaking bread.
Yeah. Very good. Thank
And
you.
also too, just want to shout out, this is Che, he works with me as part of the team, and he was kind enough to help.
Thank you, Che. I
Give
really
it peace.
appreciate
My
it.
pleasure, my pleasure.
Yeah, and thank you also. Okay.
I have a quick question, just, I'm aware that there's like, you have certain like a lot of times to invest, there's certain qualifying factors
Yeah.
for somebody. Is that when you're talking about possibly something smaller that people might be able to pull resources on, would
Yeah.
would that still be a factor on?
Yeah, and let me just address that real quickly. What I've found over the years, people, when it comes to making an investment decision in categories, fall into kind of three categories. There's either those that, have $1 million and more to invest. Then there's those that sort of fall into the category of maybe, 100K up to $1 million. And then there's those who are gonna be below this line and kind of just getting started. For some of the bigger projects that I've been talking about here, most of the folks have invested, somewhere in this range, 100K to that, and I've had a couple of investors that have invested over $1 million in different properties collectively. And then as far as, here, typically, for what we like to do, or at least get started on, it's usually, $50,000 as far as, starting out. And what tends to happen again, like say, in the property that showed that was 2.7 million, that was, in California, that was more, the money that came in for that was, you'll see properties that you can probably buy for, $5, to maybe, $40 million pulling up here, and up here, actually maybe that's a little rich, but let's say 20 million. And then up here, folks in 100,000 to $1 million, then you're looking at, acquisitions that are probably 30 million, to 50 million, and then kind of going that way.
Okay.
So what's the ROI on your investment annually?
Well, they vary from deal to deal, and I guess I get into that when we sit down one-on-one and talk about that. But again, like I say, they're definitely double digit, and then ROI has two components. There's a cash on cash component, and there's your return on investment, and then there's when you sell it or refinance it, there's that factoring that in too, that adds another factor into it as well. So again, rest assured that everything we do is double digits and north of that, as far as what we get, as far as our returns on investment.
As well as the taxes.
Hmm?
As well as the taxes. Tax break.
Yeah, that's another bonus too, what Shay was saying is that, again, when you factor in some of the savings from taxes, that increases your return on investment even that much more, so, rest assured that the cash on cash is double digit, again, depending on the holding period, whether it's 3 years or 5 years, the return from profit that you add to that for your internal rate of return, it's gonna be a little bit higher, so the numbers, are definitely
Did everyone have a chance to sign the sheet?
Intended.
Okay.
Great,
What's going?
thank you again.
Thank you guys for coming out, I appreciate it.